LaBrie is a shelter, and that's what LaBrie means. It means shelter in French. LaBrie is a shelter for the refugees of the 21st century. So people who are really struggling to make sense of their life today. People come from all over the world. They stay for varying lengths of time.
LaBrie started out of the home of this family, the Schaefers, Francis and Edith Schaefer. It doesn't fit nicely into any sort of neat preconceived box. They were from the Midwest, and they had moved to Switzerland to be missionaries to children, as well as also be a support for other missionaries that were in Europe at the time. And they just started opening their home as places for conversation, and they were hosting people. They tried to be hospitable, so make a meal and have a conversation over a meal. And people just kept coming. And eventually that part of their lives was gaining so much momentum that they put the other work on hold. They quit their mission agency, but were given this property in Switzerland and just wanted to open their home for anyone who needed a shelter, who needed a place both to find rest from the chaos of the modern world, the confusion of the modern world, but also to wrestle with big questions and wrestle with what is true, what is real, and who am I in light of those things. There's a LaBrie in England now, there's one in Holland, South Korea, Australia, Boston, Minnesota, the west coast of Canada. We're a place that welcomes people to come and both find rest, but then also wrestle with kind of the big questions of life and see how the Christian faith answers maybe the questions that they have that for whatever reason they haven't been able to ask other places. But it's also our home. We live here year-round with the rest of the staff that's here. There's 7 of us.
The work of LaBrie, I think, is it's about hospitality in its fullest sense. It is about providing for the very basic needs of food, shelter, but also just the relational needs. It matters more that I am available. all of me is available than did I get the tablecloth on right and straight and the candles lit, but to really come present to the people who are here. And I think that is something that is shocking to some people. There's a place for them. There's a literal place for them at the table, and time has been taken to make that space for them.
The Bible starts with a picture of God making a home, a place that's habitable and this language of very good for people to be in. They're not in that home anymore. We're not in that home. And the Christian story tells the story of how God wants to bring us not just back to the garden, but bring us forward to something, to a new home, to a new place. And so he's a God he's very much a home-making God, literally making home for us.
Hospitality does cost us something. Is it worth it? Yes. And maybe that's what we have to wrestle with. Is it worth it to me? It asks something of us in regard to trusting God's hospitality toward us. As a church community, we're taking on the theme of hospitality for a season, but what it's really asking of us is to take on a lifetime of hospitality. And so we can't think of this as, I'm going to do this over the next couple months, and good job for me, I did what the pastors want me to do, but to really take on a life approach to this.
People don't feel at home in the world. There's no big story for them to make sense of their life. There's no one place that they're from or they live. A huge thing that we see God doing throughout the Bible is wanting to make home for people and wanting to welcome people into a home.
And then for the time that people are here with LaBrie, here, through that red door, you belong here.